Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie. It has been a while since I've made a video, so you're probably wondering what the heck happened to me. I am alive and well. Apologies for the delay. And my video today is going to be talking about just an update on how my family and I have been. And yeah, we'll go from there. Last time I tried to record this video, I did make a previous recording, but it didn't really feel authentic to me. I don't know, I have to be in the mood in order to talk to a camera and be myself, so bear with me. So we came to Macedonia end of August, and specifically Skopje was around end of September. So it's been about 7 months now of being in Macedonia, which is crazy to think, actually. Yeah, 7 months. Crazy to think. And it's interesting because this time last year was actually when my family and I made the decision to move here. Everything happened so quickly. A lot of people have asked me at this point, do I miss Canada? Do I regret moving here? And my answer is there might be certain aspects about Canada that I miss, but I definitely don't miss living there. And I don't plan to return, neither does my family. So in terms of what I miss, I mean, I would say the biggest thing is Amazon. Yeah, I don't know if that's maybe sad or not, but I do miss the convenience of Amazon. Like in Canada, we could comfortably sit in our home and not have to go out anywhere, which is probably not a good thing because you become a hermit. But whatever you need, you can find it on Amazon. Whereas here, good luck finding what you need. I mean, you have to really go out and be on the hunt for certain things. And you know, have to try various stores. Here, we have Amazon here, but it's very, very limited in terms of what you can get. And I find here even online shopping in general is not as advanced as in Canada, right? Like even if you were to look up online for a certain item that you're looking for, you may not get the results. And so that makes it really hard to know where to go to find your product. Like me, for example, I'm looking for an indoor UV light for mosquitoes. If anybody knows where I can get one, let me know. Because yeah, they're just kind of hard to come by. So I would say I miss Amazon, and not gonna lie, I also miss drive-thrus. Now here, believe it or not, there are no drive-thrus. Apparently back in the day there was one for a McDonald's. We don't have McDonald's anymore, but we don't have any drive-thrus. And granted, that might get annoying sometimes because you have to go out of your way into a coffee shop to grab a coffee. And most people sit down when they have their coffee with company. They don't really do the whole, you know, take it to go type of thing. So I do miss that, but at the same time, I can appreciate that people here, they really take the time to sit down and communicate with other people, to socialize. As I've mentioned, cafes are always full, literally always full. I don't know what people do with their jobs, but yeah, always full. So those would be the two things I would say that I miss. Another question I got asked before was, you know, of the things, the items that I had to kind of part ways with, what I might be missing the most. And my answer to that would be my brother and I, we collected all of our old video game systems, and we ultimately ended up selling them because we recognized that they were just kind of gathering dust. We weren't really playing them, but it is a little bit, yeah, sad when I think about how I'm probably never going to find those game systems again. Like we had the N64, Super Nintendo, PS1, PS2, PS3, GameCube, the Wii, you name it. Yeah, we had so many. So that makes me a little sad. But I also did end up giving away my Himalayan salt lamp to a friend, which I hope she's using it. But if anybody knows where I can find one of those, let me know. And I guess technically I could have brought it here, but because the voltage is different, I didn't want to have to deal with changing the whole electrical cord and all that stuff. So yeah. In terms of other updates, I think one of the folks who commented on my previous video, I'm gonna post it here, they worded it very well in terms of, you know, when you initially make such a move, you sort of get this euphoria, this high, right? This honeymoon phase of everything being really exciting, right? And people are obviously very excited to greet you again, right? People that you know. And yeah, that was all very fun. And then, of course, that kind of euphoric feeling, the honeymoon phase dies down, and you begin to understand the realities of, pros and cons of living in that country. And so me and my family definitely were past that whole, honeymoon euphoric phase. And yeah, even with, I would say too, things have stabilized in the sense that in the beginning, folks were wanting to meet with us, and, we haven't seen them in a long time, and it was very exciting. And I almost feel like there was a bit more of an effort to get in touch with us, not from everybody, but from a lot of people. But of course, life happens, and people are now kind of getting back into their routine of things. And so I think that has also died down. People are, focused on their own lives, and myself included. But regardless, though, I would say that even still, I have a greater social life here than I ever did in Canada. And even though I would say people here still socialize much more than in Canada, although even still, I think it's not to the degree that it used to be, because people generally live very busy lives. That's probably a worldwide thing. But yeah, I definitely do still have a greater social life. I think a more meaningful day to day, if that makes sense. Other than that, though, I think if I had to talk about, I guess, the impact of making such a big life change, the move, I do feel, and now I don't know if this is a combination of both being an expat plus maybe COVID and, kind of the unpredictability, if that's the word that came with that. But I do feel like my window of tolerance, my ability to tolerate stress has gone down. And again, I don't know if that's just because of making such a big move. Probably COVID has something to do with that too. But I do feel like, yeah, my ability to tolerate stress has really gone down, and I find myself getting overwhelmed easily with things. So that's not fun. And yeah, that's kind of why I have these moments where, even though logically I know that I have an amazing support system, but I do have moments where I feel very alone. Now that's probably a common thing too, I would think, even outside of being an expat. But yeah, I definitely have those moments of feeling alone, and I wanted to just normalize that. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just, I guess, sharing my feelings. But all this to say that, yeah, if I, looking back on the whole move, I've also been asked if I were to, go back now and kind of repeat the situation, would I do anything differently? And in truth, I don't think my family and I really had any opportunity to do anything differently. After we made the decision about the move, which again was around this time last year, it was just kind of go, go, go. Yeah. And the way in which we went about it was my brother essentially quit his job because he realized he could not, work full time and also pack our stuff, because him being the guy, he was really the one doing all the heavy lifting and packaging things, right, to put in those totes. I'll put a picture actually of the totes that we had. It was so many things and boxes. And so he quit his job to be able to fully dedicate himself to getting our house ready to sell, and also, of course, packing the things that we had decided we were going to take with us. And then, of course, my mom, she was also fully dedicated to that too. And I was the sole breadwinner for those couple of months. Yeah, I moved back home after making the decision to move. I was originally living away from home. So I moved back home, and luckily my job was good enough that I was able to, pay for groceries, pay for certain bills. That responsibility was on me. And so in between my working day, because I worked from home, when I would have little breaks, I would basically go out into the living room and try to help as best I can, or I would be the one cooking food for my family. And it was a lot. Yeah, we all had our own kind of separate roles that were all important in their own ways. And then, of course, my mom She was a real estate agent in Canada, and so she was, responsible for doing all of that when it came to actually selling our house, and the tips and tricks to make our house presentable, and things that maybe we needed to fix in the house in order to make it more sellable, right? So it was a lot. Looking back now, it really was a lot. And the time finally came to have our stuff be removed and ultimately put on a train to then go on a boat to then come here. And we didn't know whether our stuff would arrive or not, right? Like all of our life belongings, there was this great level of uncertainty that came with it. It was a risk. Ultimately, there's no guarantee that your stuff is going to arrive, but we took the risk. And granted, it was pricey. It was pricey to bring all of the stuff that we did. But at the end of the day, we knew that we didn't want to come here with nothing but our clothes, right? I mean, we would have had to orient ourselves when it comes to the different stores here and where do you buy certain things. And that would have been a whole other stress of trying to find the items that we had ultimately would have gotten rid of in Canada. And so we just didn't want to deal with that, which looking back now, I'm glad because when our stuff arrived, it was really nice opening those totes and reminding ourselves of items that we forgot we had packed. We still have packed totes actually that are at my mom and brother's house because they have enough storage space. I can't really keep too much in my apartment, but we still have things we haven't unpacked, believe it or not. So it's going to take some time. But yeah, anyway, my point being, as we were going through some of our things and opening these boxes, it was just really nice and nostalgic. And our reaction was sort of like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Or, oh yeah, now I have this shirt or whatever. So yeah, even like the little pieces of furniture that I have here in my space, I do like it. It's like a little piece of home. Of course, logically, we can find everything that we need here, but we didn't want to deal with the stress of having to discover where to get those things, and also again, the sentimental value of these items. I guess now I know where I'm headed with this topic. At first I was like, I don't really know what to talk about, but no, that is really the update. So yeah, again, if you are an expat, it's up to you to decide how much you want to bring with you. And although there might not be any monetary value to those items, ask yourself whether there's any sentimental value. Even the clothes as well. I mean, again, I know that all of the things I need are ultimately here, but I don't want to have to bother with searching for things. And again, because of the, lack of Amazon, aka lack of convenience, I have to go out of my way to get those things. But yeah, one day at a time. In terms of other updates, as you can see, my background is different. And I have my own apartment, guys. So I've been living here now for a few months and I love it. I really do. I love the location and I love the freedom and independence of having my own space again, which I had before as a student. So I did very much miss it. And not gonna lie, if I was still in Canada, there's no way I would be able to afford buying my own property on a single income, not even on a dual income, right? Like, as I said, I'm a millennial and it's really hard for my generation of folks to buy a property without the help of either a bank loan or family if you have that opportunity. So yeah, this was all thanks to, the funds that we got from selling our home in Canada. Otherwise, I would probably be stuck either living at home with my family, like many other people in Canada, or renting and just kind of throwing money away, not really owning a property. So that's the biggest update, I would say, is having my own space, which I really do love. And I actually brought some furniture from Canada, like this cube shelf behind me, thanks IKEA. We don't have IKEA in Macedonia, and among a couple other things. So I'm really happy about that. It came furnished as well, which was really nice. And oddly enough, the pieces of furniture that I brought were actually the things that were missing in the apartment. So I'm happy about that. My mom and my brother, they purchased their own property as well that they are currently renovating. Luckily, I didn't have to deal with that. That's like a whole other stress that they're dealing with, but they're doing it. So that's the biggest update, I would say. And if I compare how I'm doing mental health wise and in terms of adjusting to life here, if you watched my last video, it was a little bit depressing because I was just feeling all the feels, but I'm doing a lot better, I would say. I've adjusted a lot more. Now, granted, I do still have moments where the shock kind of hits me. The shock of, oh my God, we, packed up our entire lives in Canada and came here. And yeah, I definitely have moments, but it's happening a lot less, I would say. And again, I give credit to my support system. I mean, my family, my boyfriend, who I met here, I'm not gonna go into details, but he's been very supportive, and my friends, right? But there's a certain, I wanted to bring up this idea of grief, because I think it's really important, whether it's for people who are thinking of leaving Canada or any other expats. I think it's important to acknowledge the grief that I feel, and my family feels it too. And it's something that I don't think anybody else can really relate unless you are an expat yourself. But it's the grief of, the life that you've left behind, right? Because obviously when my parents moved to Canada, they never imagined that they would come back here, right? Their intention was to stay permanently. And my brother and I, we always envisioned ourselves living in Canada long term. Right? So there is a certain element of grief, although I know logically I don't plan to go back to Canada, right? I'm going to be staying here as far as I know. But there's a certain level of grief in the sense of, I'm having to say goodbye and having to let go of the life that I once knew, right? And also having to say goodbye and let go of the life that I thought I would once have, right? Because I envisioned myself in Canada. So although, again, as I said, I don't plan to go back, but there is a certain level of sadness and grief that comes with that. So yeah, it happens, right? Or certain, things that I might miss, again, like the Amazon, right? Or the drive-thrus. But I would say those are the biggest things probably that I miss. We felt a lot of pressure to buy a property as soon as possible because prices only continue to go up. And even ever since I moved into my apartment, which was in January, now prices have gone up since then. So there was an element of pressure too. We knew that we were renting prior to that, but we knew that that was more of a short-term thing, that we really needed to invest the funds that we had. And we did, luckily. Actually, my apartment, one of my closest friends found this apartment online. So yeah, I'm really grateful for her. I love it so much. But that is definitely an element of pressure that we faced. And of course, getting to know a brand new city, figuring out where you want to live, what are the nicer areas, what are maybe the not so great areas, they exist everywhere. And yeah, what areas do we want to be in? Yeah, so many unknowns. If you liked my video, yeah, give it a thumbs up or a comment. Let me know if you resonate with anything that I mentioned. Again, if you know where I can get the UV lamps indoors for mosquitoes or the Himalayan salt lamp, let me know. I will appreciate it. And I'll come up with another video soon. I do want to talk about the pros and cons of living in Macedonia, part 2. But yeah, thanks for watching. Take care, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye. What am I talking about again? Oh my God.